Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about an article that Realtor.com did. This is on the heels of the one we did yesterday talking about home prices falling during, should you wait for the recession? Because home prices will be less, right? That was the article. Okay. This one is a surprising sign that home prices may finally take a plunge this summer and not a plunge into the pool.
Okay.
They will not be diving into the pool.
Okay.
So we're gonna see this, but what we're going to find out is they don't actually give any actual like what they think of define a plunge. Okay, I apologize for the size of these. I just snapshotted these, so if you can't read them, you just have to listen to me talk. Okay, here's the first one. Okay, now what they're doing is they're basing all this data based on the change from last spring to this spring.
Right.
Okay, so remember that. They're looking at last spring, which was a totally normal market. It literally is the 2022 spring was literally the baseline for how real estate operates in the U.S., right? Like pretty much every year is like 2022. So anything different than that is absolute like chaos, okay? And here we go. So,
okay, and if you did not think that he was being sarcastic, he needs to practice.
No, I'm actually very good at it. I was a finalist. I was actually selected to go to the Sarcasm World Championships in Peru in 2009. Yeah, okay. Okay, so here's the first quote from the article. This is how bad it is now compared to 2023. And while this March's prices are 6.3% higher than March of 22. So it's so bad, prices are higher 6.3%, okay? That price growth is tapering off. So the percentage appreciation is starting to decline. Like the amount of growth is starting to change. Marking the lowest rate growth since June 2020 in the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic. So basically what they're saying is the three fastest growing years of real estate values are coming to an end. But that means as you look at the percentages change, that means it's going to zero. I'll give you a good analogy. You're the best football team on the planet and you won your first game by 40 points and you won your second game by 20 and you just won by 7. That means you're going to lose by probably a touchdown in your next game because the trend is where you're going, right? You're getting worse, apparently. What is that? What is this fascination with comparing this year to last year? Because remember, this is the funny thing. March to March, we're up, but we won't be up June to June because May and June were ridiculous. Home prices went up like $20,000 a month.
Okay, I know what the fascination is.
What's fascination?
I think that they're cheating. They're using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT only goes back to 2021.
I think it does. It doesn't know. No, it only goes back before 2021.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have anything from 2021 to now because when they program the language model, it doesn't have new information. It has all the old information.
I see.
Yeah, so it doesn't. If you ask it something about last year, it won't be able to tell you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says I don't have any information since 2021.
Okay.
Okay. We've been playing with ChatGPT. Okay. What's fascination?
I forgot.
What's the fascination with comparing today to 2022?
Okay.
Everyone's doing it. The number of sales is around 34%.
Because it's sexy. Because it gives them something to talk about. I mean, it doesn't have any resemblance to reality, but it just makes it a sexy talking point.
Okay. Okay. Here's the next quote. She even predicts that at this rate of slowing, list prices are likely to decline relative to previous year by summertime.
Okay. Right. Let's go with that.
Okay.
I mean, list prices are going to decline anyway because that's kind of the cyclical nature. Now, whether they will decline substantially from last summer, because last summer was the highest the prices were. Okay, I'll give her that. So they'll decline from June of 2022. I'll give you that. But June of 22 is like being a perfect 10 supermodel, and now you're only a 9, so somehow that makes you a hag. I don't know about that.
Okay, here's another one. Now, I'm going to read this. I want you to think about it for a second before we point out the obvious hypocrisy in this quote. And you probably can't read it. It's really if you're watching this on your phone, you can't read it. You should always watch our channel on your TV, Apple TV with the big screen. Okay.
Or you should just watch us, when you're on the treadmill at the gym. That works too.
Okay. One clear culprit is mortgage rates, which have more than doubled over the past year from under 3% to well above 6% for a fixed 30-year loan, played out in monthly mortgage payments, financing 80% of a typical home today, costs an average of $611 or 39% three more compared to just last year. So Oana, if mortgage rates are doubled, and we were told mortgage rates going up would instantly crash the housing market 40 to 50%, why are home prices up? What was the amount? 6.3% higher. Okay. How did that possibly happen? Because we were told 6.3%. We were told they'd be down, and now they're up 6.3%. I don't understand the economics of how that works.
So mortgage rates have doubled. Payments have not doubled. Did you hear that? Payments have not doubled because mortgage rates have doubled.
Right.
And I forgot the other part that you just said.
I don't remember now. It's late. Oh, it's late. No, it was home prices are up, but mortgage rates have doubled.
Oh, that's right.
That doesn't make sense. Like right. Economically, that doesn't make sense.
So, sorry, lost my train of thought. Happens. Okay. So, like we said, interest rates have doubled. Home payments have not doubled. Home values have not dropped because home values do not have a seesaw relationship with interest rates.
We did a thing last year where we talked about when interest rates started going up, that historically they never, ever, ever have it's taken less than 18 months to go from the lowest to the highest for rates dropped. Mm-hmm. Rates started going up in December, and in November October, November, they hit a peak. They went up like 10 months in a row. It got to above 7, mm-hmm. but now they're down. Actually, I was quoted at 5.6% for a VA loan.
Right, which, as we all know, Jerome Powell raised interest rates a quarter point just a few days, like a week ago.
Yeah, Wednesday, a week ago.
Right. So he raised interest rates, but the mortgage market is looking into the future. And because they're looking into the future, and I don't mean that they have a crystal ball, but it is future looking. And that's why mortgage rates have dropped, because they're thinking that the Fed will maybe raise rates maybe a total of another 0.5 point or 0.75 point, and then they'll stop, and then interest rates will start going down.
They don't even know what they're doing month to month. They don't even know until like 2 days before they do it. So their projections they haven't even followed their own projections. Okay. Right. Well, it's technically more of a seller's market. Now, here's the funny thing. It's technically more of a seller's market because there's no inventory than a buyer's market. It doesn't really feel that way to sellers. And Brian Davis, who teaches real estate investment courses at Spark Rental, many sellers just aren't getting what they want for their homes right now. So they're not getting what they want. They're taking off the market. Okay,
right. But they're not getting what they want because they're looking at June 2022, or they're not getting what they want because they're even more unrealistic than that, or optimistic is a more polite way of saying it. The other reason is sellers are taking properties off the market, not necessarily because they can't get their number, but because they can't get something else. And this does happen a lot.
Yep.
Sellers will think that, well, if I just get my property under contract, then I'll go somewhere else and get another property. And then when they're looking in that other market, there is nothing that they want, and then that's a problem. So as they're getting offers, then all of a sudden they're going, well, maybe I just need to kind of put this on hold until I can find something else for me to buy. And this is happening a lot. It's happening, and it's very difficult for them to measure this because this doesn't show up in statistics that NAR or anybody can track, because the only people who really know all of this are practitioners in real estate, because we see it, but this is not getting reported anywhere. So this is a really important thing to keep in mind, that not all the data is out there, because there are so many nuanced transactions that are not being cataloged because there's no way to track them. So when we're looking at a lot of what all of these economists are saying, they're just looking at, if you will, the big boulders in the market, but they're not looking at everything that makes up the market. And everything else that makes up the market is very significant in its totality, not in the onesies and twosies, but in the totality of it.
Here's another quote. These are sellers. Some sellers will simply remove their listings from the market, and that's exactly what many are doing. In March, the number of new listings fell by 20.1% compared to this same month a year ago. So the reason sales are down, there's not as many homes to sell.
Right.
Like if you sold 10 loaves of bread last year and there's only 8 loaves of bread available and they all get purchased, people go, whoa, sales of bread are down 20%. Well, because there's less homes to pick from, there's going to be less sales.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that there are less consumers looking to purchase.
There's certainly not less consumers. If you had any idea, okay, there was a house, it went under contract, it fell out, it went back under contract with multiple offers, it fell out, and then now it's back under contract with multiple offers. It's over $1 million, and this has all happened in a few week period, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy amount of demand for a substantially over $1 million house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just anecdotal information. But I'm just saying that the reason sales are down is because number of listings are down. Conversely, if the market was tanking, the sales would be, if you had told me a year ago the number of sales this spring would be 20% more than last year, I would have said home prices are going to fall. Think about that for a second. If you'd have told me last year at this time, Todd, next year at this time, the number of sales will be up 20%, I would have said home prices are falling, then something's going to happen. And you said, why is that? It's because you have a bunch of people dumping houses on the market. Prices are dropping, and a bunch of people are jumping in and buying them. That's what happened in 07, 08, 9, and 10. We know that. We were doing real estate back then. We owned seventh largest, with the 4th largest office in the city for total listings of 1,200 real estate companies. We had a lot of listings. Okay. Indeed, 12.6% of March home sellers made price cuts, more than double the number who slashed their asking prices in the same month last year, which was only 5.8%. Oana, 12.6% of home sellers, they're comparing to last year when literally you could have listed your house for anything, you got offers.
Right.
It didn't really matter what you listed for.
Right. And last year, everybody was buying houses sight unseen. They were waiving inspections, appraisals. They were hypothecating their firstborn and everything else. So to judge against that is unrealistic, and it does not give an accurate picture of the market. So regardless of that, the fact that 12.6% of sellers had to do a price change, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the market. It just means that people started at a number that buyers said, no, thank you. There might not be enough inventory, but we're not that desperate.
Of the couple thousand houses you've listed, what estimate would you say of people that had to have a price in a normal market had to reduce their price?
I would say almost half of sellers in a normal market have to do a price adjustment.
And you don't take over price listings. You don't just say, oh, fine, we'll just list it for some ridiculous number.
No, not at all. I mean,
okay.
One of the things that we'll do is, we'll go ahead and we'll say, okay, Mr. Seller, we'll go ahead and we'll list it for your number. And then you're going to sign right here saying that if we do not get any offers within this time frame, we will go ahead and adjust the price accordingly to the price that we said that the market will bear. So we're not against a seller being priced optimistically for a short period of time. But after that period of time, the seller understands and realizes that the market is not at that point. And then the house gets repriced according to market value, and then the house gets sold. That's the whole point.
Sellers who can afford to be patient can simply list their home for the price they want and wait, says Davis. But they might end up waiting for a long time. Now, be advised, I'm going to show you how long these poor people have to wait to sell their house.
Yes.
And the numbers bear this out. In March, real estate listings lingered an average 54 days on the market.
Say it's not so.
Absolutely. 54 grueling days of being on the market, probably looking out the window, seeing if a real estate agent was pulling up to the house. Honey, someone just pulled up. Oh, it was Amazon, right? 18 days longer than last year. So when you look at this, you think it was 18 last year and it was 54 this year, okay? But it was 36 last year, which was literally probably the fastest in the history of real estate for homes to sell, a median home. 54 days. Oana, what's a normal market?
6 months.
Yeah, 4 to 6 months, right? 54 days is still this unrealistic comparison to last year. Mm-hmm. Is this I'm reading this article going, oh my gosh, okay, here's another one. The stagnation This 54-day stagnation indicates to me that home prices have further to dip, at least in some markets, Davis says. Agnew thinks prospects look grim, regardless of what the economy does next. So it doesn't matter. Even if the economy takes off and interest rates drop to zero, man, it looks bad for real estate. It looks terrible.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. Here's another quote. This whole article, as I read it, I just thought, oh my gosh. Like, the only reason Federal Reserve would lower interest rates this year is if a recession hits and they need to stimulate economic growth, he reasons. That leaves sellers between the rock of high interest and the hard place of a recession, both of which historically dampen home prices. First of all, if you watch yesterday's video, recessions do not historically dampen home prices. Second of all, you're not between the rock of high interest rates and a recession, because in both of those home prices go up, but interest rates would actually be dropping, because that's what happens in a recession is the government goes, shoot, we can't let the economy, just die. We have to, stimulate it a little bit. And when they do that, they're going to stimulate more home buying.
Right.
Okay, that was the last
because
part of it.
like we've said before, when they lower interest rates, people jump back into the market as far as purchasing homes. And especially now. I mean, are you kidding? I mean, I think for every quarter point that the Fed is going to lower interest rates or that the mortgage rates go down, you're going to see more people jump in, because they're going to look at this and they're going to go, oh, interest rates are down. I can now afford another $100 in my payment or whatever it is. And it's going to spur more purchases. Now, that's only going to happen if we have inventory. And we've kind of talked about this a lot, that once sellers see that they have opportunities as far as a better interest rate and more inventory, then they will come on the market, and then the market will churn a little more. And we need the market to churn in order for people to have choices. And we like the market to churn because real estate agents make money when the market is turning, when there are transactions. So that's what we like. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, two things. I absolutely would love home prices to just tank. I would love it. We would go buy a bunch more rentals.
Yes.
No question about it. Would be a huge opportunity, I think. We would also probably be selling houses like crazy. People would be, oh my gosh, I've sold my house. We're going to put it on the market and sell it. That would be absolutely fantastic. I just don't think it's going to happen. Second thing is, if you are going to reference June of last year and go, but Todd, in June of last year, this was the total number of sales and this was home prices and look how much they're down, and look how many percentage sales are down. Please do this. Do not reference any year since 2020, 21, or 22. You can pick 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, or 19. Those years are all fair game. Those were literally normal markets. They were absolutely like, hey, it's real estate, it's normal. Pick one of those years. Look at what the prices were. Look at how long homes stayed on the market, how many houses were on the market in any given market, and compare that to the day today. But stop this comparison, this fascination with last year but that's a normal market last year. It was like totally normal market, because it's just a terrible, terrible comparison. It's not a good comparison.
Okay. Last year was a supermodel of a real estate year. So please, compare it to a regular year.
And agents hated it. We loved it because we sold more listings that year than ever. Our listings literally fly off the market. The buyers hated it. They were competing with multiple offers. Mm-hmm. They were like, they were calling us going, this is the 8th house we've written an offer on, and if we don't get it, he's going to fire me. And I'm like, that's why I don't work with buyers, because it's super painful.
Okay.
All right.
So if you are interested in selling a house, please give us a shot.
Anywhere in the U.S.
Anywhere in the U.S. We will totally hook you up. If it's here in the Vegas market, we will be happy to help you. If it's elsewhere, we have a network of fantastic agents that we'd love to connect you with.
If you're buying anywhere, you can also reach out to us. We'll get you a agent through Referral Cloud.
Absolutely. So that was our shameless plug for our economic activity. Otherwise, please like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave us a note and tell us what you thought. We love reading your comments, and we try to respond as often as possible. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.